So then, I spoke in the previous module about the ribbon and identified some of the things that it could do, but we really didn't get to see it in action, and that's what this module is all about. So we're going to look at the behavior of the ribbon. And once you see it in action, if you haven't before already, you're going to get a lot better feel about how it's going to change your experience with Word 2007 and how it's going to make your life with the application a whole lot easier. So to set this up, I've started with just adding a line of fairly famous text here, 7 years ago, from the Gettysburg Address, and then I also added a picture of a humpback whale just very, very quickly. So what I want to do here is just start by clicking and dragging to select this text, and there's something that I quickly move my mouse away from because I don't want to show you that quite yet. But at any rate, I want to concentrate on the ribbon, and what really powers the ribbon and the way that you're going to change the elements of your documents is something that is called Live Preview. And Live Preview is enabled in the ribbon by default, and it lets you just take your mouse and go to, for example, your Styles commands and look at your Styles gallery in your Styles command and just hover the mouse. Now you see what happened when I hover the mouse over heading 1? The text in the document changes, and this is something that I like to call what you see before you get it. You might hear people call it whiz biggie or whizzy big. What you see before you get it doesn't really have an official name. Well, actually it does. It has the official name of Live Preview. But it lets you anticipate what your change is going to look like before you even make your click. So I could look at my entire Styles gallery here. Strong, subtle reference, emphasis, and I'm not making any changes to the document itself. If I click out of that Styles gallery, you see that the text is unchanged. So once again, I'll select it, and I'll go to my Styles gallery, subtle emphasis, a quote. So it's a quote. Let's keep it as a quote. So now with one click, instead of opening up a dialog box and making 5, 6, 8, 10 clicks, I go to the Styles gallery, I hover the mouse, I make one click after the whizzy big shows me what I will see before I get it, and then bingo, I've made a change to the text in this document here. I also mentioned that the ribbon would adapt to whatever you're working with. So whatever element you're working with in the document, for example, if you're working with a picture, I click the picture, and now look at the ribbon changing so that my picture tools are front and center. All I have to do now is go to my picture tools just above the ribbon, click, and now here's a formatting tab of my picture tools. I don't have to remember to snap in a toolbar or remember what menu command would let me make adjustments to this picture. All of the things I could really do to this picture are laid out in front of me in the ribbon. So Picture Tools Formatting tab is now open. I can change the text wrapping options. I can change, can I change the brightness? Sure. And this again is the idea. What would it look like if I changed the picture to normal, to 20% darker, to 20% lighter, and so on? Again, what you see before you get it is in effect so that I can make my change with one click and I know exactly what the implications of that click will be. Now, one last thing before we say goodbye to this module here is that some people ask, well, how do you get rid of this ribbon? And I addressed this in the previous module, how do I replace it with menus? You don't replace it with menus. But you'll notice that sometimes it can take up a lot of real estate in your Word window. And that's especially true if you're dealing with a high, or actually a low resolution, like I'm dealing with here. In most higher resolutions, it's probably not going to be that big a deal. But at any rate, if you want this ribbon to go away temporarily, you can just double click on one of the tabs. When you double click on one of the tabs, you now just see the tabs. You don't see the actual commands themselves. So again, if you want to free up that real estate, go ahead and do that, and it doesn't really matter which one you click. I can click the Insert tab to bring that ribbon back into play.